In this video I'm going to show you how to create a game out of the rolling ball, a demo that comes with UE4. So we're going to start off just by using the standard rolling template. I'm going to turn off starter content and we'll call the project ball game and create the project. Don't want to save the old one. So this is the ball rolling template that we showed in the first introduction video. Hit play and you can see we can just click on the screen and roll around like so. Now the first thing you'll notice when you use this template is that the ball's a little bit kind of spinny. It's a little bit over the top when you kind of roll it around. So first thing we want to set in the properties here is the roll torque. Now this is part of the blueprint object that is the ball, which handles all the sort of the player controls and so on that make it move around. And one of the variables that they expose, one of the settings that they expose, is this roll torque. Now it's a huge number on there. It's set there, it's starting with 5, and I've found that if you just alter this down a little bit, so let's make it, for example, make it to 1 instead, 1 with all those zeros on, hit play, and it will roll much more slowly. Now this is a little bit too slow, but it's just to show you the difference that it makes. So let's change that to about, let's change that to 2 and then 5 and hit play, and we see now we can kind of roll around. You don't get that kind of spinning wheel effect that you got beforehand. The other thing is that the camera is a little bit kind of overhead. So we'll just find our ball object here and press the F key to zoom into it. There we are. Now the camera's quite overhead. If you look from the side there, you can see the angle's quite steep. Now we can adjust this again in the settings here. If you see how it's constructed, you've got the ball object, you've got the spring arm, which is this red line that attaches the camera to the ball itself, and then you've got the camera. What we actually want to adjust is what's called the spring arm, and we can adjust its rotation slightly using this setting here. So we can just drag and alter the rotation there. I'm going to set it to around about there, and we'll just hit play on the game, and you can see that already the angle is slightly different. Maybe it's a little bit too low at the moment, so we'll just go back and find that spring arm, just slightly adjust that setting, maybe to there. Just to get the angle how you want it. Okay, so we've got the rolling ball, we can move it around. It kind of works slightly nicer now. Some of the other settings that we might want to change, some of the things we might want to do, sorry, with the level, is actually have like a goal, like an end point where we want to get ourselves to. So we're going to use a trigger box. Now the trigger box is just in the basic setting here in modes. We're going to drag this trigger box on, and I'm going to place it in the top corner of the level like so. Now it's really small at the moment, we want it to be big enough to roll into, so I'm going to use the scale tool and grab it in the middle, make it way bigger, and also just pull it out of the floor. So it's more like this, just sort of sat in the corner of the game like that. And then we're going to want it to give us at least a message when we roll into it, but also make it visible for when we play. This is only a sort of basic test, so I'll show you what happens at the moment, which will be not a huge amount. So if we roll into this corner here, you'll notice there's no box visible there at all. So if we escape out of that game and select our trigger box, and if we just scroll down here, there's something called actor hidden in game. If we turn that off, it will mean now that when we play the game, you'll see there's a green outline. You can actually see where the box is. Really useful for testing stuff and checking where things are. And then the other thing that we're going to want to do is have some kind of message appear when we roll into it. Again, it'll be a little debug message, and this is our first experience of blueprint. So the blueprint is a way of essentially programming your level without using traditional code. It uses a visual language to sort of script your interactions with. So we've got our trigger box selected here. We've opened up the level blueprint from the menu there. If we just right click in the window, and what happens is when we have the ball roll into the box, we want to trigger an event, something to happen. And the event we're looking for is called an overlap event, and we want it to happen when the ball essentially begins that overlap. So if you just type in the search box overlap, you'll find here it says on actor begin overlap. Click on that. If it doesn't appear first of all, you might want to make sure that context sensitive is turned on. If it's turned off, it won't find it. If it's turned on, then it will find it. So you've got the overlap event added to your blueprint, and just very quickly we want to just print off a little debug message. So you just type in print to find that print string function there, and rather than just saying hello, which is the default, we're just going to put a message in there. So call it next level, because that's what we want it to do. We want it to go to the next level when we roll into that. It'll just give us a message at first. So a simple bit of script. Hit compile. You should get a green tick to make sure that it works okay. Close that window down, and let's see if it works. You may have to click on the screen just to get it to register the keyboard input first. Roll into the box. You've got the message in the top corner there saying next level each time you roll into that. So we have a basic interaction working. So the next thing we need to do, I suppose, is create a new level. Now this is the first level. If we remember from the introduction, that's stored in the maps folder. This is that first level here. It's called rolling BP example map initially. Now we'll leave it called that for the time being, just so we don't have to change any of the other project, but we're going to just save this first of all. So this will save our level to the disk. You may also want to do save all, which will also save any other changes that's happened to that project. That button's down there. Now with our level, we want to do file and do a save as. Now this time we'll call this level 2. So this is just to create a new map file in here. and we want to save it into the maps folder. Click save and we should see it appear in the content browser in a second. There we are. So we've got level 2. So if we open up level 2, it'll just ask us if we want to save this first. Load up level 2. Now it'll look identical to level 1 at the moment, but we could, for example, change this this text here that's in the that's on the floor. So rather than saying rolling template, let's call it level 2. And also let's just move a few things around as well. So let's move these blocks this way a bit. Perhaps we could duplicate them and create another set of blocks. So you just hold down the Alt key to duplicate. Make another set here, another set there, so we've got a few things to sort of knock over. So click save, and we'll play this new level, level 2, and as you can see, that's there, and we've still got a trigger box here that says next level. Now we now need to make it actually work and go to another place. So this is currently level 2, so let's reopen our first level, which is this rolling map. Now we need to modify our blueprint, our level blueprint here, and after we've printed the little message, we're going to open a level. So you can just drag off a little pin from this this print string here, drag it off the output from that, type in open, you'll find something called open level. The level we want to open is called level 2. Just watch you get the spelling correct and make sure you don't have any extra spaces, and it's probably best to make sure that the capitalization matches whatever you've called your level file there. So we're going to open level 2, compile it just to check that it works. Close that, and we'll just hit save all again. Save selected, there we are. And we'll hit play. Click on the screen, and we should this time be able to roll up to our box in the corner. It says next level, and now we're on to level 2. Now level 2 doesn't yet go anywhere, but if we did want it to go somewhere, we could open up our level 2 and open up the blueprint for level 2. Now notice this is now a different blueprint from the blueprint we've just altered. This is level 2's blueprint. And we'll go open level and we'll type in level 3. Now we've not yet made level 3. It'll still compile, but we'll probably get an error if we try and run this. Let's see what happens. So we're going to roll into the box and we should get an error of some sort. There we are, we've got errors and so on appearing here. So if you do get errors, click on the show message log and it'll give you some clues as to what the problem is. And it says here, reason for failure, invalid URL. There we are. So it's it was trying to essentially find the link to the file that didn't exist, and it shut down the play-in editor. That's what the Pi thing is. So let's make level 3. Let's do a save all first of all, and we can do file and then do save as. Let's make ourselves a level 3. This just duplicates level 2 to start with. And we'll just move back and we'll do the same changes that we did before, just so we know that we're on a new level. So we're going to rename level 2 to level 3, and we'll shift around our blocks a little bit more. Let's make them do something kind of interesting. I'll just select these blocks here. Let's have them shifted up in the air a bit, and why not rotate them a bit as well, so that as we play level 3 they should all kind of come tumbling down like so. So hit stop, let's just hit save all. You'll notice there's this little sort of star sign here, and that will disappear when things are saved. So if you ever see a little star by something, it means it hasn't yet been saved. So let's try our game. We're going to open level 1, we're going to hit play. We're going to roll into this top corner here. We're going to open the level, we're in level 2. That's great. And then level 2 should take us to level 3. There we are, and there's our falling blocks. So you can see we're able to sort of build you know, a set of levels fairly quickly, like this. Now there's a couple of things we might want to add to our project. What we'll do now is create a blueprint that's like a sort of a death box. So if we roll into this evil box, it's going to kill us and basically reset the level. So we have to start that level again. So what we do, rather than adding a trigger box and place it in the corner like we've done here, we're going to create our own blueprint. So the easiest way of doing this is if you go into the blueprints folder and we right click, and we're going to create a new blueprint class, and we'll go with the actor class, which is just a basic object that you place into the level, and let's call it killbox, like so. So it shows a sphere at the moment, but that sphere there, it just represents nothing. It's just the center point essentially of this empty blueprint object. What we're going to do, we're going to add a component, which is just basically a way of adding an object to the editor. For some reason it's not like that. There we are, a component, and that's it. So just make sure you clicked on the scene root first of all, and we're going to add a cube. So there's our cube added to the what's called a viewport. So you've got a viewport where you construct the object that you want, and we're also going to add its own trigger box, which will be in here, called their collision box. There we are. Now the collision box by default is a little bit smaller than the cube itself. It kind of sits inside the cube, so we need to make that slightly bigger. So if we use the scale tool and just get it so we highlight all three of those items. There we are. Oh, actually we could lock the scale to it. Oops. So we could set it manually here. So let's try 1.5. Is that not quite big enough? Let's try 2. There we are. You can see it just slightly extending the bounds of that box there. And rather than adding the script to the level blueprint, we're going to add it to its own essentially built-in bit of blueprint. It's called the event graph, and we're going to use the overlap. So we can use the one that's built in, the actor begin overlap. That's fine. So when our ball overlaps this object, we're going to just do a print string, and we're going to print the message out called reset level. Obviously that's just a little message at first, but let's just check. It's always good to test as you go along. Hit compile, it's fine. Hit save as well. Close that down. We're going to add our kill box to the level here, and let's just place it somewhere like that, and we're just going to test to see whether we get our message appearing when we roll into it. There we are, you can see the reset level message just appearing in the top corner of the viewport just around here. So we know that the trigger volume's working, we know that it's all ready to go. Now an easy way just to reset the level kind of cleanly is to do another open level, but to open the level we're currently on. So there's something called get current level name, which we can just find by typing the word get level and then start typing the word get level name in. You'll find it. So we get the current level name, and we've got to link it up so that it happens before we try and open the level. So we've just got to remap the way that the flow happens. Tidy these up a little bit, and then we can link our level name here. It'll just do a little conversion as well, so it converts one data format, which is a string, in this case a piece of text, into another data format, which is what's called a level name format. So it just does a little automatic conversion there. So when we overlap, we're going to print our little message out, we're going to get the current name of the level, and then we're going to reopen that level. So let's just save, compile, it's all okay. Let's hit play, and let's test, see if that works. There we are, our level now resets. If we put them into that, and you'll see why that's useful actually. If we go on to the maps level, level 3 here, and remember we had all those blocks that were falling down, so we can also reuse our kill box in level 3, and this will do the same sort of thing. So you could make kind of a little sort of tricky thing to navigate through. Obviously you'd spend a lot more time sort of designing your levels, but this kind of gives an idea as to how it might work. So for example, if you bumped into one of these, it resets the whole level, and all the physics and everything else is a reset for you as well. So there we are. So you can create yourself some hazards like so. Now let's just have a quick look again at this kill box. Now it doesn't look particularly dangerous at the moment, so what we could do is make it look a bit more dangerous, perhaps turning it red. Now an easy way of doing this would be to create a new material. Now there is a kind of material already built, this gold one, this one here called orange metal material. So we could just duplicate this and just recolor it. So rather than saying orange, let's call it red. And if we just double click to edit this, this is one of the material editors. Now there's a bit more going on behind the scenes with this, but this is quite a good way to get started and making some quick materials here. So we can just change the colour there, and let's find a nice sort of red colour. Take down the blue, there we are, that's looking a bit more dangerous. UE4 uses physically based rendering, so you've basically got a metallic setting, which you can see here, it's really shiny. Obviously you can bring the shininess down so it becomes a sort of a matte, or turn it off so it becomes a matte colour. But actually what tends to look quite nice is if you bring the metallic up a little bit, and then imagine like you've got a nice shiny sort of metal ball there, and you then get a bit of sandpaper and kind of rough up the edges of it. This is what the roughness setting does. So you can see no roughness, it's nice and shiny. You add roughness in there and it gradually kind of diffuses the shininess. So put it something like that. Hit save, close that down. Then we're going to go back to our kill box blueprint, open that up, find the box that we added in the viewport here. select that box there, just make sure you've got it selected properly, and where it says materials we want to use our new material. There we are, red material, and we've changed that red. That should now have applied that across all of our other boxes. So there we are. So these are all called instances. They're all instances of the kill box. You drag these on, that's a new instance that's made. Similarly, if you hold down the Alt key and drag, that's another new instance. So here we are. These will all kill and reset the player each time. If I can escape, there we are. We can escape those and head over to the corner here. Now I don't think we go anywhere yet after level 3. It's not set to do anything. Just resets level 3 again. Now one thing you might want to do is use one of these kill boxes to just place underneath your level, because you can actually sort of roll off the top of your level sort of accidentally sometimes. So I'm going to use one of these kill boxes here. I'm just going to place it there in the level, and then use a scale tool to make it really huge across the X and the Y axes, so that when you roll off the level and sort of bump into it, it will reset you. And just move it down a little bit. There we are. So now if we do accidentally manage to escape the map, which I'll try and do now. There we are. That's doing quite a good job of keeping me in the map. There must be a box keeping me in. There we are. But if you do manage to escape the map, then it will reset you as well. There's some blocking volumes around the outside that must have been added in fairly recently. So make sure you do a save all, and then have fun designing yourselves some challenges and levels to get through.